All right, I think we're live. Let me see this. All right, what's up, Wenham? How are you, my friend? I can't see who these are. That's Tomas. Not everybody's name is there, but welcome. Welcome. Hi, Gene. Hi, nameless people with faces so small I can't see. This is going to be awesome. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to try to check chat, and I'm going to try and answer questions at the end of this. First off, can somebody chat in that you can hear me? And I know there's probably like a 15-second delay or something crazy like that. But if you can hear me, maybe hit me up in chat. Let me know that you can hear me. Wait for just a second for that. Wait for more people to join. Is this auto refreshing? Let me see. I love technology. It's been so fun lately. All kinds of stuff getting crazy. In any case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started pretty soon. So Christina says, yep, can hear you. Okay, awesome. Then I feel really comfortable getting started. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate this. This should record like a Hangout does. So if anybody needs to book early, or if I babble and blather on too long, then we'll have the recording of it. What I wanted to do is I wanted to say hi here, and then I am going to run some slides and take you through some things. I think it helps the learning process. We're going to pause, potentially do some visualizations, do some different things like that. And I am very excited to take you through this stuff. And ultimately, at the end, I'm going to tell you how you can go further. I'm going to tell you what's up in the different ways that we can take this stuff even further than what I can do with you in an hour. But you should get a lot actually out of this hour itself. So let me actually share my screen here, get my head around what I'm doing. So boom, share that. And then what I want to do is I want to run this guy like that. So I am going to assume that you can just see the slides right now. And I want to welcome you officially to the Hacking Change Hangout. Basically, we're talking about how to overcome your subconscious limits, because those are really the big things that are going on. And my name, if you don't know it already, is Rob Scott. And I'm really excited that you took this time to join me today. If you're here, you may realize the rabbit hole of your subconscious, and that it could easily be the thing that's standing in the way of literally everything you've been searching for and yearning for your whole life, but never seem to actually get. You know, that big promotion, the dream house in the awesome neighborhood, a healthy, more vibrant, fit, and exuberant you, the relationship of your dreams with the partner you're truly meant to be with, the business you've always wanted to start, but couldn't bring yourself to break out of the cubicle and go and get, the world travel that you've been dying to do since you were in college, but never managed to find the time to make it happen. All of it. And I'm here today to tell you, hopefully show you, that it's actually all possible. And more than that is possible when you're finally able to reveal your true self and illuminate once and for all the barriers that have been standing in your way. So I'm going to show you how to begin to literally shift your identity and become the person that you've always dreamed of becoming. So I want to make this an experience. And before we get into the meat of the webinar, I want to tell you a little bit about what you should expect to get from this experience today. And yes, I'm calling it an experience because I have very good reason for that. As you'll soon see, I am 100% committed to the idea, and quantum physics backs me up on this, that the way that you observe something directly affects the outcome of that experience. And that might sound a little weird, but I can assure you that it's not. And I'm actually going to try and demonstrate it right before your eyes today during this collective experience that I want to have. So first things first, you're here because you want to change. You're hungry for it. You know it's possible. You know it's out there just waiting for you. And you want to find it. You want to devour it. You want to let it completely alter the path of your life and how you're currently going right now. And I'm telling you that it's not only possible, it's your destiny. And yes, I just used the words quantum physics and destiny in the first minute and a half of introducing myself, right? Don't let that worry you. The concepts and the exercises that we're going to tackle together today are both profound, and they're powerful, and they're also elegant, and they're simple to understand. You're not going to need a rocket science cheat sheet, and you're certainly not going to need a set of tarot cards. This is very, very grounded, very, very real, very, very tangible. But I highly suggest that you have handy, before we get too far in here, I want you to have a piece of paper, maybe several of them, and I want you to have a pen or some writing instrument, because we're going to do some brainstorms today, okay? And I have every suspicion that you're going to want to take notes throughout this time together. And I want you to, I was trying to get together an exercise guide for this. I tried on the last one of these that I ran to have it together. I still haven't had a chance to build that, but we're going to be able to do it live if you can take some notes here, okay? So here's what you're going to get, all right? What's the one thing that I want you to take from this experience? I want you to gain a greater knowledge of exactly what makes your subconscious mind so powerful, and how it ultimately manages to override your conscious mind. And then I want to show you how to take back control and start shifting your identity into the person that you were meant to be, the person that you really, really want to be. All right, but here's the dirty little secret that your subconscious mind doesn't want you to figure out. It doesn't want to give up its power. And it won't, actually, unless you force it to do so. So the key to truly getting what you want out of your life, no matter what that is to cleverly and covertly sneak in and convince your subconscious mind that the reality that you're dreaming of is actually the reality that really exists. And it sounds like that might be daunting, right? That might be difficult to do, but it's not nearly as difficult as you might think. Now, you're likely suffering from one or more of a set of very common subconscious blockages that, in my experience, most, if not all, human beings actually suffer from. I call it the core delusion. And it's my personal and firmly held opinion that just about all of humanity, all 7 billion walking, talking, resource-consuming, dream-chasing vessels of human consciousness, I think we're all operating with at least one of these limiting beliefs to some degree or another. And most people don't even know it. But you can be different, all right? In just a minute, you're going to get a peek. We're going to pull back the curtain just a tiny bit so that we can see what's on the other side. If you have woken up to a limit that you've been carrying in the past, what you saw probably shocked you a little bit. It's a kind of jarring discovery that the one thing standing in the way of living the life that you've always dreamed about could very well be you. It might be you, right? So not just you, there's nothing wrong with you, but it's really the way that you're thinking and the way that you've been taught to see things, the way that your protection mechanisms in your system have started to automatically and unconsciously see things. But don't fear, I'm about to show you how to completely change the way that you see things. And when I do, you're going to understand completely what I mean when I say the way you see something directly affects the outcome of what you're seeing. And a guy that I like to mention, one of my favorite authors and phenomenal self-help gurus, who actually sadly passed away pretty recently, Dr. Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that sounds like hokey and really kind of silly, but the reality is that we're in relationship with consciousness and with the universe. We're not actually these separate things. So as you change you, you change the interaction between you and that. And I'm actually going to talk about it much more, like foundationally or tangibly than that. But that's true too. We are actually in this relationship with isness, right? So as you change you, you change that also. So in the spirit of this, right, I want you to open your heart and your mind and go into this experience with me today with the full expectation that you will leave this experience a changed person. All right, I want to invite you to focus, but I also want to be blunt here. If you're not willing to devote the next hour or so to achieving a better understanding of who you are in the universe, what you're meant to be doing here, and how to move toward getting it, then you might be in the wrong place right now. Right? This could be a huge waste of your time. If there's a voice in the back of your head saying this isn't going to work for me, then you should go watch House of Cards or do something else, because this is not the place to go. And I don't say this with any malice or harmful intention, right? But I do want you, I don't want you to waste your time today if you're not willing to let down your hair a little bit and go with me on this journey. So I want you to look at it like this. People have a way of categorizing their time. Some of your time is trivial, time spent relaxing, mindlessly watching television, doing things that are enjoyable, but not necessarily having any real impact on your life. But other parts of your time are different. They're vital. They're important. They're incredibly valuable. Time spent working, learning, teaching, and growing, much more valuable, vital time. That's how I want you to approach this experience with me today. In a fundamental way, I want you to look on this time that we're taking together as transformative and impactful. Deal? Can you do that with me? Invite that possibility in, and let's see that as our intention together, right? Let's just seed that in. If you're willing to do that with me, I promise that it can be that fundamentally and deeply life-changing. And here's one thing I want you to understand right from the start. It's possible that you can have it all. There's a version of you that is fully able for you. No matter what your life looks like right now, no matter what you think you see from your front porch, your backyard, your commute to work, and everything in between, no matter what you think your life is right now, listen to this, it's not that. Whatever is going on for you is not set in stone. You're not a victim. You can change, okay? You and you alone have the power to make incredible, positive, and lasting change in your life once you understand the ultimate power of perception, okay? So let me back up here. This is not a joke, all right? This not being a victim thing, all right? It's not a joke, and I don't say it lightly. And the reason that I feel so strongly about this is because I've lived it, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit how I got here and why I know what I'm about to share with you and why it has the power to change your life and all that. And some of you may know this history already, so I'm going to make it quick, right? God, if I have to tell who I am one more time, it's just like, all right, we get it, Rob. We know the story, okay? But if you don't, this is for the handful of you that don't, all right? So I'm just going to go through this so that you can see what's possible, all right? Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm experiencing an ever-growing best life that I've ever had. You know, I've helped thousands, it's hundreds of thousands now of people who've gotten my podcast and been affected by me. And I've worked with thousands of people through coaching groups and giving talks and doing all this stuff, right? I've helped thousands of people experience real and lasting change in their lives through one-on-one and group coaching, all these different ways. And it's led me to be able to, like, I don't know, just be in this space. I have everything I could possibly want and actually more. And it's not just a money thing. It's experiences, it's relationships, it's my way of being, it's presence, right? It's stillness, it's fulfillment. But on top of that, I've mentored some incredibly successful and important people who've used my teachings to take their lives and purposes to the next level. They truly see what's possible, right? I've got this incredible partner, Renee, who I get to travel the world with and love on and just enjoy. And I get to enjoy her son, Manny, who I'm crazy about and I adore, right? And I get to spend time interacting and coaching some of the brightest minds on the planet. And I make a shitload of money, you know, yay. And I get to be in my purpose 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I have the time to take off whenever I want. I'm going on a killer vacation next week, which is, oh my good Lord, much needed. Right. And so one of the coolest specific things that I've been able to do recently, it was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago now, but I got to do a talk at Google over on their main campus. I've been on podcasts like The Art of Charm, which is, I think, a top 50 or a top 20 pod. Like, it's a sick amount of reach that that Jordan and those guys have over there at Art of Charm. And I got so much love for being on that, right? But I've also been on like 50 other great podcasts and amazing shows. And these days I'm getting hired by companies like the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and the Foundation to create mindset modules for their business courses, and doing work with other places like Mind Valley and their I was abused in just about every way that you can imagine. I honestly lacked the skills to emotionally interact with other kids, let alone adults, right? The relationships that I did form were superficial and never lasted. I've lost 2 different best friends to suicide at very different times in my life. After the first one, it took about 10 years before I was really comfortable feeling close to another person. And then that guy committed suicide too. You know, earlier, I spent my childhood basically in a state of fear and massive mistrust. And as you can imagine, the results were not ideal. I was homeless. I was a huge addict. I was into every possible thing that could do me harm instead of doing good. And of course, the logical trajectory landed me in jail multiple times, in and out of institutions, rehabs, halfway houses, all that stuff. Man, it was a crazy, crazy ride. And I was miserable, and I was totally dysfunctional, and things just were not working out. And just when I thought I was starting to turn the corner and that things were looking up, I got super sick with cancer. And I actually kind of forget that this happens these days. And I have a picture that I sometimes share. I should show it. It's like me in a no smoking area with my chemo drip, bald in a, like, you know, ass out gown, smoking a big fat cigarette in the no smoking section, because I just didn't give a, you know, like it was like, ugh, right? And I had to go through surgery and aggressive chemotherapy, the whole 9 yards. And at this point in my life, I basically was like, you know what, of course I have cancer, right? How could I not? Of course. I was convinced that my lot in life was to have to endure an incredibly high suck factor, right? I figured it's just how life was going to be for me. And when I finally kicked cancer, I was in terrible shape mentally and physically. I was 75 pounds overweight. I honestly thought I would never get out of this downward death spin that I was in. I thought I was going to be dead at 27 for sure. I mean, I was positive of that. But just when I thought that I was destined to be miserable for the rest of my life, something happened, right? I discovered a way to literally shift my identity and change the very core perspective of who I am in this world and what my purpose is. And it's become the basis of my coaching and teachings, right? It's the thing you've come here today to discover for yourself. And it's got a ton of nuance. It's got a lot of different parts to it. But when I found this for myself, some miraculous things started happening in my life. And it's certainly a, you know, I'll throw air quotes, a miracle, right? If you consider where my life had been just a few short months before, okay? Well, what happened was I lost the excess weight. All 75 pounds dropped off me in about 10 months. I got into shape and I haven't looked back since. I became the youngest vice president at a local Philadelphia tech company. I shot up like a rocket till I was literally on top of the company and there was nowhere else to go. That's when I started my first podcasting, you know, debut. And at about that time, I realized that my story and my journey and all this crap that I knew about how the mind worked and meditation and hypnosis and NLP and all that, that they were things that other people were really hungry to hear about. They wanted to get these results, right? And so that led to coaching people. People all over the world started asking me for my coaching. And, you know, more than 10 years, I've been in the trenches working with all kinds of people full-time to find and develop the cutting edge systems to create profound change in people. And that brings us relatively closely to where we started this story and to the reason that you're ultimately here today. You want change, right? And like I said at the very beginning, you're here because you're longing for a change in your own life. However, throughout your life, you've been convinced by your internal dialogue and from almost everyone around you probably that change is not only hard, but that in some cases it's downright impossible. But honestly, I think the word impossible was made up by people who suck, people who just don't want to truly look on the inside and do some necessary work to deliver a vastly different outcome, right? People who say impossible suck. Maybe we should like tweet that or something. You know, the reality is once you understand the fundamentals of change, how your own mind is internally sabotaging your success, you'll be completely amazed at how easy, lasting, fundamental, profound change is for you. So what do you say we jump in and take a look at just exactly what these limits are, how they got inside your subconscious mind in the first place, and then change the outcome completely, all right? So let's just jump into the pool. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room and address why change is so damn hard, all right? The reality is that our subconscious mind is tasked with keeping the status quo intact and acting on what it thinks your best interest is, right? What your subconscious thinks your best interest is, because it's trying to remain safe, right? It's more than that. And I want to hit home just how important your identity is to this process. All right. I'm sure you've tried to make changes in your life in the past and felt absolutely stymied at times. You start a new workout program to try and lose weight, only to be thwarted by the chocolate cake, right? The warrior chocolate cake that's in your way to your goal. You work your ass off for the promotion, but it goes to your, jerk coworker instead. You want a new house in the best neighborhood, but try as you might, it just is out of your reach. You can't make it happen. Well, you might think that it's luck of the draw, but something else is at play here. I want you to think about it like this for me, all right? And the house has a big hole in one of the windows, huge gaping hole. And you could try as hard as you want to heat the house, but it's going to stay cold, right? You go out and buy a bigger heater, you try and heat the house, but it's still freezing. You light a fire in the fireplace, but it's still cold. Everything you try might work for a minute, it might help a little, but then it's right back to the same old cold house. Why? Well, because you didn't fix the core issue, of course, right? There's a hole in the window letting all the heat out, and the cold air is coming right in. So you're never, ever going to be able to keep the heat in the house without addressing first that core issue of the broken window. Now, here's another analogy. You have a business and you give your books to an accountant. Your accountant is a thief, and they're stealing from you behind your back. And all of a sudden, in your experience, you never seem to have enough money, right? You hire new salespeople to make more sales. You make better products and move your profit margin up to make a difference, right? You do all this different stuff, whatever, hire the right people, do all the right stuff, but you're still in the red. You're still losing money. You work longer and harder than you ever have before, convinced that you'll finally get where you need to be. But at the end of every month, you're still losing money. It's because you haven't addressed the core issue that's stopping you from making a profit. And the theft that's happening in your finance department is ruining you, right? As long as that person's stealing, any other effort you exert from the outside just simply won't change the root problem. So think about that in your own life and the changes that you've tried to make in the past, and consider just how much extra effort you're expending by trying to attack the problem from the outside rather than addressing the core issue. And if you carry negative thinking, if you carry limiting beliefs, if you carry self-sabotage, this is a core issue. Think about it. It doesn't matter how much success you create, how many connections you have, how many sales you get. If you're going to simply sabotage it, if at the last minute you're going to procrastinate and you're going to throw it away, you're not going to show up, or you literally like stop making the sales calls or whatever, right? It's a core issue. It's a core issue, and it's who your subconscious ends up thinking you are. It's your identity of, this is what I can have. This is how much I can have. And unless you go in and change the identity that's carrying those limits, you're going to be stuck for the long term, okay? So you're going to be exhausted. You're going to be completely drained. You're going to be sick of trying to change in all these different ways. And if you don't change that core identity, nothing else will matter. And your subconscious is set up to continue keeping the status quo. Let me do this. There's more to this. How do I get this to stop sharing? Hold on a second. Boop, 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 boop. I'm going to come back here. This. All right. So I'm going to stop screen sharing. It's like, we anthropomorphize this subconscious. We almost give it like it's talking to you and all this stuff. What's happening in the unconscious for you is a little bit crazy. It's got like lots of stuff happens to you and you have to react to it, right? If a car is coming, you should jump. If somebody's going to punch you, you should react. If you know that your taxes are due, you have to address that, right? So that's going on for sure. All right. And that's just like a mouse reacting to a cat or whatever. Like all of consciousness has to deal with reality and do that. What's different about human beings is we can be in a room completely alone, right? And just with our thought firing off all this neurology of panic, depression, worry, right? The way that we're thinking when we're not even like consciously aware that we're choosing those thoughts, it's just like on autopilot, this negative thinking fires off for us, right? And what happens is neurons fire, they start to wire together. So we get these neuronal bundles. They just make these easy patterns. We get triggered very easily out in the world and in our own thinking, right? That does what? It fires the limbic system, which is a deeper part, our emotional brain, that gives us the feelings and the state of how we do. That limbic system also fires off the hormones that end up going through, like the stress hormones and the cortisol and all the stuff that makes it difficult to lose weight or difficult to sleep right or to feel more anxiety, et cetera, right? This system that does have to react with reality, but also has to react with how we're thinking about stuff, right? The stuff that goes on between your ears, it's amazing to me that we don't have a manual for that, right? Nobody, I shouldn't say nobody because I'm working really hard on it, but nobody's really teaching how to run your brain. And so it's not what you think, it's how you think. It's not a belief system. I don't want you to believe anything that I'm saying. I want you to experience it. In fact, I'd really like you to not believe anything, okay? I want you to run your own brain in a way where your consciousness evolves and you can see these delusions that are happening, okay? Now, a rock doesn't have, a rock is in reality. It's in the universe. Maybe it's in consciousness, right? But it doesn't have to react. It's not doing that. A mouse has to react, but it doesn't have all that extra internal thought going on. We as humans have this whole world happening. And when I talk about it being subconscious or unconscious, there's a deeper level of your unconscious that you'll never see at all. It's truly unconscious. It's truly out there. But what's going on there is that's firing like every moment, right? These different neuronal patterns that both are happening electrically and chemically that make up your state. And your state makes up how you feel like you're going to be confident to behave a certain way, or if you're going to be scared, or if you're going to procrastinate, et cetera. And how you behave goes into the results that you get. And the results you get come back to give you your next experience, right? That's how time goes by. So we've got to master this thing in here. We've got to figure that out, okay? If we don't figure that out, we're kind of screwed. What happens is we end up on autopilot and we're resisting and we're anxious and we're like, and with the damn addictive everything from addictive thought to addictive drugs to addictive drinking to addictive internet to addictive coffee. Hi, how are you? Addictive coffee, right? It's everywhere kind of pulling our attention. And until we learn how to think, how to run that, we're going to be in deep trouble. Okay, sorry for my aside, just had to do it. Boom, come back to this guy. And then come back to here. All right. So let me come here, find out where I am. All right. So I want to go even deeper into your subconscious mind. And I want to find out exactly what your limiting beliefs are and how they're changing your very identity. Okay. There's a chance that some of you might have heard me refer to lenses in the past. If you've checked out any of my stuff, like my story, this is something that I talk about a lot, but that's okay, right? Because it's the very heart of what I'm teaching. And it's one of the most powerful and simple concepts that can elicit change in your life. So it's fine if you've heard it, right? This short recap will just reinforce it for you even more. If you haven't heard it, it's crucial, right? Now, I see limiting beliefs in a different way than a lot of other professionals in my field. I call them lenses, all right? Now, what's a lens? Simple, it's something that you look through that in theory changes the way you see things, all right? It may improve what you see, it may blur what you see, but it changes what you're looking at. But it's not just that simple when you get down to it. Remember, just a while ago, I quoted the late, great Wayne Dyer, who said, right, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Well, consider that when thinking about a lens. If you have glasses or contacts, it should be immediately clear how impactful a lens can be on your life. Psychological lenses do exactly the same thing from inside your subconscious mind, right? The difference is physical lenses are used to help you see things the way they should be seen. They're corrective, they're helpful, right? But the lenses your subconscious has you looking through are there to keep things the same. They're there to keep things familiar because change is dangerous. They're there to keep you safe. And the subconscious has this safety agenda, if you will, and sometimes that's not a good thing at all. Now, of course, it's a good thing. It actually does keep you safe, and there are good things, but sometimes these things can get wired poorly, all right? And so, in fact, those invisible lenses that your subconscious is forcing you to peer through, they could be the very things that are keeping you from having the life you're destined to live. And it's a strong statement, I know, but without you even knowing that they're there, those lenses, those limiting beliefs that you see the world through only filter in what your subconscious wants, not who you truly are, not who you have the potential to be. Take a second and think about, if you really brought your best, what would you be capable of? If you really showed up, if you didn't procrastinate, if you didn't hold yourself back, what would you be possible? What would be possible for you? So your lenses could be keeping you from the very things that you wish for the most, right? That healthy body, the big promotion you've been yearning for, the new business you wish you had time to start, but you never seem to get around to, all of that and more. These lenses form the basis of your core identity. This is who your subconscious thinks you are, and it will demand that you remain that person or else. So where do they come from, right? These lenses that you're unconsciously looking through come from the strangest places. When you were little and a parent told you that you couldn't have a cookie, let's say, or you were gonna, if you have a cookie, you're gonna get really fat. Well, that can create the lens that made you equate cookies with being fat. From that point on, you might have been looking at the world through the lens of a person who fears at any moment that they're gonna balloon out of control and gain weight. Right? Maybe you were abused by your parents and told that you would never amount to anything. As a little kid, that's a lens that goes directly to your subconscious. And then you start to see yourself through that lens, and you believe that that is your reality. Your parents might have been tight on money, right? And just the simple act of witnessing those events unfold, no money for food, right? No money for dance or football lessons, no money for rent or other necessities, right? Your parents might have had some money limits themselves. And each of these lenses pile on inside your subconscious mind and form the limits of what you believe to be true and what you believe you can accomplish. These lenses dictate who you think you are. The money worries, they could easily have been have placed the lens called "there's not enough" or a scarcity lens right into your subconscious mind, leading to a lifetime of believing that the world is a place of scarcity and that there would never be enough of anything. Now, the maddening part about these lenses is that once they're in your subconscious mind, they're there for the duration, unless you discover a way to remove them. And make no mistake, your subconscious mind wants to have complete control. It sure does, all right? In fact, some studies show that the subconscious mind is processing 40 million, yes, million, bits of data per second. And the conscious mind is dealing with maybe 40. The subconscious mind is many, many, many times more powerful at creating your reality than your conscious mind. And that feels weird because we're kind of identified with our conscious mind. But the subconscious mind is running the show. No bullshit. It really is. Let me give you a quick experience of this. Let's do a little exercise here. You won't need the pen or paper yet, okay? But I want you to close your eyes and just play along. Do this with me. Close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths with me, okay? Just close your eyes, get seated and comfy, and we're gonna take a deep breath in and let it out. And just relax into your seat. Take another deep breath in. Oh, it's a nice break. Let it out. I love my breath so much. And now with your eyes closed, I just want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine a bowl of the most beautiful, juicy lemons you've ever seen. And I want you to imagine going ahead and picking one up. Feel the slightly rough texture of the supple skin on your fingers, right? Maybe it's a little oily. Hold it up to your nose. Smell the fresh citrus, the scent of the peel wafting off of it. Now go ahead and scratch into it and smell the lemon oil, that concentrated lemon oil that gets on your fingers and that spicy leftover residue that's on your fingers. Now imagine cutting into the lemon and experience the juices exploding out and intensifying the smell. Now cut out a wedge of that lemon and just give it a little lick and then a bite into it. Really experience the tasting, the sour of eating that raw lemon. And now I want to ask you, are you salivating right now? Are you salivating right now? Most people are salivating at this point. Go ahead and open your eyes. What happened there, right? Believe it or not, almost everyone who does that quick exercise gets the effect of salivating just from the thought of biting into a lemon, just from a thought. Now, why? Because your subconscious knows what that experience is like, right down to the smell, the texture, the flavor, and simply bumping into the thought of the lemon makes the real physical reactions change in your body. All right, there's no lemon there. Unless it's odd and you happen to have a bowl of lemons right in front of you, there's no lemon there. That all happened between your conscious thought of being directed at a lemon and then unconsciously through your body having a reaction. All right, your body reacted like there was a lemon. Now, what do you think a simple TV commercial will trigger with you? Right now, when we're doing this, we're in the cycle of voting, whatever it is, the presidential race, right? So we're seeing all these crazy TV commercials and news stuff, and they can trigger all kinds of stuff from serious cravings to frustration to anger. And after life prompts us with some unconscious trigger, we go on to unconsciously walk completely against our will, completely against our goals and intentions. Let's say there's a Pillsbury Dough commercial, whatever. We cruise to the pantry and we get a snack, failing once again at what we wanted to accomplish. All right. Your subconscious is a powerful force in your body, and the lenses, or the limiting beliefs, if you will, that it holds on to are the main mechanisms that determine who it thinks you need to be. All right. So here's how they start and why they become so powerful in the first place. As a human being, you're born with zero experiences so far to learn from. You're a cooing, pooing pile of baby-shaped Play-Doh, right? Just waiting to be molded into a real human being. And what you might not realize is that you're also a great big giant sponge. Your brain is set on record everything mode, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, it doesn't matter to your brain. It needs to know everything about the world that it just landed in and how to interact with it. Every interaction that you have with other human beings leaves an impact, and it starts to form your lenses from a very young age. Your mom and dad shouting at each other about money, your neighbors talking about how bad the world is and how scary things are getting. A little later in life, your friends telling you that you're not athletic and probably won't make the team. That bully on the playground who tells you you're fat before pushing you into the dirt. A teacher who tells you that you'll just have to work harder to be as smart or make the grades that your peers are getting, right? Each of these interactions imprints differently onto your subconscious mind, and it forms the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at your world. They create your lenses, and your lenses go on to create your identity. Now, an interesting side note, there's different brain waves. When I was talking before about how the brain fires and that kind of electrical stimulation, all that, well, we can actually sense the different electrical makeup, how many hertz your electrical systems in your brain are running. That's what binaural beats are for, monaural beats, isotonic beats, those kinds of things that can actually entrain your brain to different things. When we're very young, between like ages 2 to 6, we're primarily in this theta state, which is much closer to a meditative state. It's much closer to where memories are ground in. So in this young state, we have so much stuff that gets implanted in us so that we can learn really rapidly. And then that lays dormant kind of underneath. It's another way to kind of talk about how the subconscious really affects us. So to fix that, we actually have to go back there into those kinds of brain waves and make alterations and make those changes. But back to lenses. Here's the thing about these lenses, right? You can't see them. Like you can't really notice glasses that are on your face as you're looking through them. They're just there, just like your contacts. You look right through them. They allow you to see without noticing what they're actually doing. You don't consciously notice the alteration. You just start to see differently, right? These are your limiting beliefs. These are the lenses that completely shape the way you think about yourself and the world around you. And the scariest thing is that we only notice a tiny fraction of all the limits that are really there. So at this point, I want to dive a little deeper into how your personal lenses could be directly affecting your perception of reality. Let's take just a minute and do a little brainstorming exercise. I want you to follow along with me with the pen and paper if it helps you, okay? And I'll give you a second to get that situated. I'll take a sip of this delicious coffee. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Get your pen and your paper ready. All right. Are you ready? Now, this exercise is specifically designed to find the negative thoughts that your lenses have allowed to run rampant in your head. I want you to jot down any or all of the ones that relate to you directly. And I actually saw people that have worked with me before, are probably on this call, will probably see this. Do this again. I don't care if you've done this before, okay? Do this again. Come to this with a new mind, because this is really, really useful. So please do this again. All right. Now, there's a chance that you might not think some of these thoughts are quote unquote true, okay? But if they're anywhere in your conscious mind, let's be sure to write them down. They may become abundantly important very soon. As I mentioned earlier, when you're a baby, your hard drive, your brain is basically blank. And even if one of these thoughts or lenses is a tiny fraction of your full makeup, it's worth noting it to see how it can play into your overall makeup, okay? Couple more quick tips before we do this. If these inspire any other thoughts, I'm going to list out some things, or you have any other things that pop into your head, just use a bullet point list to capture them too. The purpose of this exercise is simply to get things out there on paper, not to write an extensive assessment of each of them, okay? Also, this list is for you. I'm not going to see it, all right? Let me go back here. This list is for you. I'm not going to see it. Your friends and family are not going to see it. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. No one else is looking, okay? So just get really real here. The goal is to start making your lenses become a little bit more visible to you, like you've gone out into the rain and these tiny droplets start to amass on your glasses. Not enough to completely obscure your vision, but enough to make you aware of the glasses themselves, okay? So here's the exercise. Do any of these thoughts resonate with you? And if so, just jot them down, all right? Here's one. I have enough already. I shouldn't want more. I'm not attractive. The world is dangerous. Rich people are greedy and selfish. You know what? I'll never succeed. I'm clumsy. Nobody's going to take me seriously ever. I don't have enough confidence. I'm not talented. Are any of these true for you, or even partially true for you? Do you say to yourself, it's too good. I don't deserve it. I'm embarrassed with all that I have. Something like, I'm never going to amount to anything, or I'm too lazy. I'm too much. People can't handle me. I'm just annoying. I'm loud. Or maybe I'm too shy. How about I have no discipline? You know what? I just always get sick. I'm not very healthy. I'm bad at relating to people. People don't understand me. Just a couple more to consider. I haven't suffered enough yet, right? Similar to another one I had. But how about this one? I'm not enough. I'm just not enough. Now go ahead and see if that leads to anything else. How do you think when you're up late at night, kind of worried about stuff? I'll never make the money. I'll never really be, a good business person or coach. I'll never, I'll never get there. I'll never really have the house I want. I'll never have the relationship I want, right? What are you actually up worried about? Are you concerned that you're a fraud? People are going to find out that I'm really not what I say I am. So how'd you do? Right? I suspect that there are multiple statements on your page right now, and that maybe you had every single one of those. And let me be clear about something before we move on here, all right? We're listing and examining and eliminating your negative limiting beliefs. I tell you this because in addition to those negative lenses you currently carry around on a daily basis, there are also positive ones. So we're not trying to eliminate all the lenses you happen to be wearing right now, just the ones that are keeping you from living the life you were meant to live and keeping your identity hostage. And this exercise just helped you identify several of the lenses that you're carrying around that are directly interfering with your life right now. All right? All these lenses are doing is showing you a false truth that we tend to believe, even sometimes in the face of evidence against it. Now, maybe you're here because you saw through the curtain and got a peek of the truth, as I said before, and now, you want to see how deep the rabbit hole actually is. And I bet you're frustrated as hell sometimes too, right? You're probably someone who wants to make an incredible and lasting change in your life. You want the big time, right? You want the mansion. You want the new incredible job you've been looking for. You want the life you've always dreamed about at night. But when you woke the next day, poof, it's just gone like dust in the wind. Probably more than that, you want to be the kind of person that can be your word and accomplish your goals. You probably want to feel fulfilled and happy. You want authentic relationships, right? You're probably, like I used to be, stuck and frustrated to a point that you begin to wonder if it's ever going to happen for you. All the while, you see your friends on Facebook, right, getting and enjoying seemingly exactly what they want, right? The new car, the dream house, that killer vacation, and all of it, it looks to you, right, like it's completely effortless. Now, what do they know that you don't? Now, of course, we know many of those people are just posting the best part of their day, and they're also dealing with real challenges, and we all know that their lives are tough too. But some people really are living on a different level. And you should be realizing by now that for those people, it's a simple matter of what lenses they're seeing the world through. Believe it or not, I'm going to show you how to take your lenses off. I'm going to show you how to peel off the layers of lenses that you've been wearing all your life to expose the truth of who you are. The reality is that you have within you right now the power and ability to get rid of your lenses and see yourself for who you truly are, what your true power is, and how to literally reprogram your brain to see the world from new lenses. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the next several minutes. All right. Now, this is another guided exercise. It's a visualization that I've used to help hundreds, if not thousands of people just like you to take their lenses off one by one and get to the root of their true selves. And by the way, when I do this in my programs, we do it for all the negative lenses, right? The state that you'll achieve when all your lenses are removed is very much like what Hindu monks are working toward when they meditate for hours a day for years at a time, okay? I've had people tell me that they've sat for years practicing meditation, and after we do the deeper work here, they wake up more profoundly than all of those years of sitting put together, right? Really awake, really enlightened. So for this exercise, we're going to use an example limit. I'm going to show you the power of being able to rewrite it. So let's do one that's pretty common for most people. Let's imagine that we have the personal lens of, I procrastinate too much, all right? So maybe a couple of you can identify with this. If not, just play along so that you can see the difference here, all right? Let's hold the lens of I procrastinate too much. And I'm going to invite you into a visualization here. And I want you to take a second and get settled and close your eyes again and connect with your breath again. So get comfortable, relax, allow your eyes to close. Now I want you to move your attention from thought and into your body, into your sensation. So maybe notice what your seat feels like. Notice your breath. And if a thought comes up, you just notice it. Say, hi, thought, and let it go. And come back instead to sensation. Why don't you, for a second, notice the rim of each nostril and how the air comes in a little bit cool and dry. And as you breathe out through your nose, the air is a little bit warmer, maybe a little more moist. Now this is presence, okay? You're here in the moment, this infinite amount of presence. We could notice our feet. We could notice words that we're hearing. We could notice other sounds around us, but we're present. We're not thinking right now. We're just experiencing. But now we're going to move from presence and into imagination. I want you to imagine all the goals you have right now, the things that you'd really like to do with your life, the business you want to build, or the book that you want to write, the wealth that you'd like to create and have. Connect to your personal goals now. Now see yourself procrastinating on those goals. See yourself resisting over and over again. See yourself starting projects only to let them fail. A year goes by and you're still working on the same thing because you haven't gotten to it yet, or you kept putting it off, self-sabotaging. Notice that as you do that again and again and again, day after day, year after year, how the world feels darker. slower, less bright, less vibrant. You may feel a weight in your body right now. Now imagine continuing to procrastinate badly for the next week, badly for the next month, the next year, procrastinating for the next 10 years. How do you look in the world? How does your body look after years of not showing up for yourself, not eating properly, not following up with friendships and growing yourself, not learning as much? How much did you grow in wealth over those years? Or did you ever start to save and invest? Did you start that business? Since you were procrastinating, how many opportunities did you miss? Now let's come back for a second and just feel the emotion of this. Make a mental note of how you feel. I feel a little disgusted, right? It feels disgusting in me. It's a little gross. You're probably not inspired. You might be sad or more depressed, right? Notice your body. Connect to the sensation, the color, connect to the way of procrastination, the energy of this way of being. Now, again, come back to your breath. Just notice your breath. Be present. It's all okay. I want you to realize that none of that has happened yet. Let's instead make a new choice. Right now in your mind, I want to invite you to say these words. My new choice is, I love taking action. Say it again. My new choice is, I love taking action. Now say this to yourself. My new choice is, I love when I follow through. Now I want you to think back to simple times when you were younger and you just showed up and you followed through. Remember that time that you actually did your homework. You were early with it. Remember when you told a friend that you'd pick them up and you were there on time. If any negative thoughts come up in your memory or you're triggered, just let them go. This is just an exercise. Allow your brain to search for and even just create other times in your life where maybe when you were younger, maybe recently, where you really took action. Times you had an idea and did it. Times where you completed things. Now think again of all the cool things that you want to do in your life and the things you want to create in your life right now, and imagine yourself showing up for them, taking real action and following through. Notice how good it feels when you get things done. No resistance, just taking action on what's most important to you. See yourself taking tons of action for the next week. How much could you get done this week alone if you flip that switch? See yourself doing it for the next month. This is who you are. You take action. You follow through. Your best version is showing up. See your goals getting completed, checked off. See your life spiraling upward. Where will you be a year from now if you consistently take action on the things that are most important to you? If you're somebody who is your word, who shows up. How about 5 years from now? How about 10 years? What if the next 20 years builds and you become the kind of person that just shows up? Now feel that in your body. What emotion do you feel now? Is it excitement? Is it gratitude for all that's possible now? Realize that you are just in this moment of your life. And you have taken action and followed through plenty of times. And now you're going to start following through even more because this is who you are. Feel that. Take a few breaths into that emotion of just being that person who shows up, gets it done, does what matters to you, no resistance. Take a few breaths there. Feel how much better that feels and feel free to open your eyes. So that was pretty intense, right? It can be really dark down the one path and it can be incredibly beautiful down the other path. And I bet some of you actually had an epiphany or got some real glimpse of what your future could actually look like if you manifest that identity of yourself, right? And this is just dealing with one example limit Imagine if we found all of your custom limits, all of your limits, and we rewrote all of your limits. Imagine the identity that you could install. Imagine the person that you could be, your optimal self. Now, I hope you got value out of that part of this experience today. And this brings us close to wrapping up the call. I'm going to probably go a little bit longer than the hour here, but we're getting close, all right? But I want you to hang with me for just a couple more minutes because I have something really special to share with you, all right? And, you know, a talk like this is really only the tip of the iceberg. You've learned about your limiting beliefs. You understand lenses differently than you probably did before. You understand where they come from and even how to start clearing them out. But there's so much more to this rabbit hole that I can't cram it into one training session like this, all right? Knowing about your lenses is one thing, and starting to remove them is a fantastic step in the process. But I want you to remember one key point. Identity is everything. And it's the true core issue to real progress, all right? No matter how hard you try, if you have a hole in your window, your house is going to be cold in the wintertime. If your accountant is stealing from you, you're never going to be in the black, right? If you don't change your identity once and for all, you're going to find yourself challenging your subconscious to duel after duel, always ending up exhausted and unsuccessful. But I have a solution that allows you to win this battle, to do exactly that. If you're still here and you haven't clicked away, it tells me that you're 100% committed to making huge and lasting transformation in your life. I've created something that I am so incredibly proud of, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. You're going to get to see kind of behind the scenes, all right? I'm so proud of this, and I want to share it with you right now. And, you know, maybe you've heard of this before, maybe you haven't, but it's called the Identity Shifting Mastermind. And the reality is that way back in the day when my life was terrible and I literally saw no end in sight and I really thought I was going to be dead very soon, the one huge thing that I lacked in my life was literally anyone who had my back, right? Who would support me in the pursuit of my dreams, who would help me and not tell me that I wasn't going to make it. I can't imagine what my life would be like today or where I'd be if I'd had only the tools a little bit earlier, right? And the people surrounding me to support me to not only clean my lenses, but to fully shift my identity and become this much more optimal version of myself, right? The Identity Shifting Mastermind, ISM, right, was created to help you do exactly that, to help you change how you think, shift your consciousness up so that you're aware in a different way, so that you get rid of these limiting barriers, so that you see them and they become ridiculous to you. I'll help you completely revamp your identity so that nothing is impossible for you, all right? Remember that when you change the core issue, when you fix that, everything else begins to change with it. But without that core change, you're essentially screwed. So that's why I created the Identity Shifting Mastermind. It's a very small group mastermind designed specifically for people like you, all right? People who have seen that invisible barrier, the lens that they've been staring through all their lives only to discover that not only was it distorting the truth, but it wasn't even designed to reveal their truth, right? To really make lasting and awesome change in your life, you need to make a real shift. I call it identity shifting, and it's one of the most powerful methods on the planet to bring immediate, incredible, and intense change into your life. I should have some stuff queued up to show you what the experience of people. I did not put that together right here, but I'll share that with you another time. I've got probably 60 or 70 or 80 video testimonials of people sharing their experience through this program and what it does in, you know, within a couple of weeks, many times, certainly by the end of it. It's just profound. It's the breakthrough epiphany that I had when my life sucked so badly that I thought I'd never be able to become anything else but a pathetic loser. And in fact, it's also the reason I was picked out of literally thousands of applicants to participate in a big Mind Valley program to help people take control of their subconscious mind. It's powerful stuff that can take you from wherever you are in your life right now and do a complete 180 and be on track to live the life you were meant to live. So what is the Identity Shifting Mastermind exactly? Well, it's an 8-week intensive program designed not just to take off your lenses, but to go deeply into your subconscious mind and completely transform your identity. During this program, you'll learn how to put your subconscious mind on autopilot, reprogrammed with your directives, and not the residual lenses put there randomly by your life experiences. You'll literally become the master of your own mind and the owner of your identity. You'll start to be able to tell your subconscious mind its own business and do what, you'll be able to tell it to do what you want it to do, okay? Now, the mastermind program is 8 weeks long, and it's designed to evolve your identity or your self-concept to a level where you are totally optimized. Too often, when someone wants to change, they think that they have to learn more or find a technique, discover a strategy to get what they want. But the real truth is, the truth that you've discovered today tells a different story, right? You can try this technique or that technique, or you can try to make a change, but you can't buy a new and bigger heater and stoke that fire in the fireplace, because all that leads to is a continuously freezing house and a lot of extra work if you try to stay warm, right? As long as that window's broken. My research and the research of many others before me has proven that if you don't change who you are and completely change what you believe you're capable of in the universe, nothing else will do it for you. When you do finally get to the bottom of the limits and remove your lenses once and for all, when you get rid of your limiting beliefs and truly become the you that the universe is here to welcome, when you can do it, nothing is out of reach. Your life will almost instantly change for the better, and it'll change for good. It's just that simple and profound. And this is what I'm offering you, okay? So ISM includes its access to exclusive private membership site with teaching videos, various audios, guided visualizations, hypnotic audios, awesome homework assignments, and tons more. You get access to a community of people all evolving and growing with you. You get connected to an accountability partner in the program, 8 live group calls that will last at least an hour and a half each. I don't leave until we're done what needs to be done on there. So often they go like an hour and 45. I'm answering questions and helping, right? These are recorded and turned into audio, both video and audio, so you have access to it after the fact. Ongoing connection to the group. I often run extra little group sessions to stay connected and continue helping everybody with alumni of this. There's a passion, purpose, profit module. There's life-altering visualization experiences, and just a whole lot more. And I'm going to be there to help you each and every step of the way, and our rapidly growing community of people just like you are there to help as well. So the Identity Shifting Mastermind uses the latest methods in neuroscience and the support of a group of like-minded people, and it gives you the tools to create the life that you want and the life that you deserve in less than 8 weeks, right? So each week focuses on a core element that you need to become the person that you want to be. You will finally, once and for all, let go of your limiting beliefs and be living into your life's purpose, all right? You're going to be living in your true identity. Now, there are limited spots. Like I said a moment ago, this is a very small mastermind. Not everyone who wants to get in will actually make it in. And no, this is not some fake scarcity play that some marketer told me to put in here. Okay, the reality is I need these groups to be small so that I can work my ass off with each of you and have the most impact. I do not like teach from afar. I work directly one-on-one with each and every member of the mastermind to make 100% certain that you're completely getting all the information, education that you deserve, and that you get the transformation and you leave these 8 short weeks later completely transformed. If I took 100 people in, there's no way that I'd be able to deliver the next level kind of training and transformation that you deserve to get at what this price is and what you have to do and all that stuff. I wouldn't feel right about it. So all of this is specifically designed to completely change your identity, and it's an intense and powerful experience, right? Most people up-level their innermost subconscious literally about week 2 or week 3 in the program. And then after that, it drives even further toward their dreams and lives. And we never look back from there. It is powerful stuff. And in just 8 short weeks, I'll take you down the path to discovering your true purpose, what you're truly meant to do here on planet Earth right now. If you don't have that, then you're not as happy and connected and fulfilled as you can be. You're not as motivated as you can be. You're not as good a leader as you can be. But once you have that, what your passions are, what your purpose is, how to make profit at it, we're going to solve that problem for you, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to amp that up 10-fold, 20-fold, and more so that you build up this inner power to match this newfound passion. And I'm going to show you how to maintain that through the rest of your life. This isn't just a pump up. You literally learn how to change. This is my process of allowing you to master your own mind and finally find your true power, your health, your wealth, your career, your relationships. Once you understand how to use your power for change, there's no limits to what's possible for you. Okay. So here's the deal. All right. And I'm going to get out of these slides in a second. I want to show you the site really fast. But if you don't master your mind, you will continue to be mastered by it. Okay. If you don't become the runner of your mind, if you can't run your thought will run you. All right. Your limiting lenses will stay in place. And as hard as you try to make these real changes, it will never be more than a fleeting moment for you until your subconscious just regains control again and puts things back where they were, right? On its terms instead of yours. And that's not what you want to do, right? You're here because you've seen this other side. You've just gone through a powerful experience with me, and you can see what just a couple of minutes can do. And there's so much more that I want to give you. And I think that you're ready to take control, right? So the next step, there's nothing to buy here today. It's not about that, right? I'm sure you're wondering, how much is it? How do I join, right? The next step is to apply. It's a significant investment for many people. It's a real program, right? It's not cheapy. It's important and it matters. You got to invest in yourself to do this, but it's worth hundreds or thousands of times. Literally, I quite, more than almost anything else, I hear that it's priceless. And that word seems kind of empty to me, but really when people say it to me, and it'll be in the videos when I'm sharing it, it's priceless. This is absolutely priceless. Okay. So there's different ways to participate in this, and it requires talking to me. I want to make sure that it's going to be something that completely changes your life. And more important than that, I have to make sure that you're a right fit for it, because I'm bringing you into kind of a sacred group that we're building. And right now I have a handful of spots open to talk about the next group that's starting here in April. So go ahead right now and jump over there and apply at identityshifting.com. And I won't talk to everybody who applies. It's not that. I have to read your application and kind of see where you are. If we know it's a good fit, you actually get a link to my calendar, and there's only a handful of spots on there. So go do this now. Don't put this off, because they're all going to go away. All right. Now, once you apply, once I see if it's a good fit for us to talk, if you want to do something right this minute, okay, if you know you want to do this and you want to grab it, you could also go do the core that's at robscott.com. It's definitely a more affordable option. You don't get live access to me, and you don't get the purpose work or the community, but it is a phenomenal product and a great place to start if you don't have a lot of money to invest in yourself right now, okay? But if you do apply for the mastermind and you're one of the few people that get to speak to me and it is a good fit, well, let me show you inside really quickly at the member site. Let me get it up here. What you get access to, all right? Take you there. Hold on. I'm going to get out of this, and then I'm going to move over to here. All right. So, once you're in, okay, once you have access, you end up with access to the course here like this. And what is inside is kind of incredible. Like right when you sign up or very soon after, you end up getting access to pre-programmed content, because we go live. Week 1 is live and all that stuff. But you go through these different processes, which some are content, some are forms that you fill out for me, and I'll show you all that stuff. But then you queue this up, which gets me ready for you, right? There's coaching in here, there's stuff. And then once week 1 goes live, the first part opens up, and then we start going through all the different stuff. We get your accountability buddy all set. We do hypnosis each time. There's meditation videos and whatnot. Week 2, we go through. Week 3, we go through. Week 4, week 5, and et cetera, right? It's such a phenomenal program that we go through. Let me show you what one of the homework things. So when we get into the meditation option here, if you want to actually do, let's say, a meditation challenge with us, right? If you say yes, this opens up a whole new kind of training here, right? So a lot of the forms are responsive to what your answers are and what's going on. I mean, it's a very robust kind of back end here. We've got the cool little things, like this. And each week we're taking it deeper. We're taking you deeper and deeper into what's important to do. We got group call replays, your accountability buddies. We train you on how to be an accountability buddy. We've got the meditation challenge. We do stuff with all kinds of cool things. There's an ecological support survey. There's a gratitude practice. As I said, there's hypnosis. You learn this patterning process. We go into shadow very deeply so that we can fix stuff. It is just an incredible process. Let me see if I can share with you just for a second what Slack looks like, and I don't want to overshare here. But we've got a very rich Slack group where people are sharing all kinds of cool things, what they're doing with gratitude and meditation. If they have any questions for me, different groups that have been in here, you can talk to me specifically in here. There's just, it's literally the most incredible program that there is. So let me actually stop sharing my screen here. If I can get back to that, figure out what I'm doing here. Boom, stop screen sharing. So now what I want to do is I want to see, and we're way long. Sorry I do that, guys, but I want to give you really good content. Let me see if there are any questions, and I'm hoping that maybe I can find them. They might be all put together for me. Let's see, maybe not. I'm trying to get the chat up. Forgive me for being kind of off here. I was hoping that somebody would corral those for me, but it doesn't look like that happened. So, and if there aren't any questions, that's fine. It's one of those days. All right, so let me go to the bottom of this chat thing. And if it's not loading, if I can't get to your questions, then we'll just wrap it up because we're long anyway. But let's see here. All right. Oh, cool. Wenham recommends it. Thank you, guys. This is amazing. Are we talking about willpower? So, David, I don't know if you got any of these questions together. I tried to look for an email if there were any succinct questions. Maybe there weren't. Maybe it's so clear and I talked so well that there's not any questions. There's just nothing important. Or maybe there was. Cool. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to wrap it up here. I love you guys. Thank you for coming. This has been a blast. I hope that this was valuable to you. What I want you to do, and I'm in the process of building a cool free tool. So if you're somebody who really has very little funds at all and you want to do something, number one, peruse my website. There's a ton of stuff there. Keep coming to Hangouts like this. I'm going to do more stuff. I'm on a ton of podcasts I haven't even shared. I've got probably 20, certainly 12, a dozen or a couple tens of podcasts that I haven't even shared with anybody. Now they're out there. People have maybe heard me there, but I haven't shared them with my list because I've just been crazy busy and not talking as much as I really want to with you guys. But I'm going to change that. We're going to talk a lot more soon. So what I want you to do now is go to identityshifting.com, apply for the mastermind. If you feel like a coaching program for you is out of your budget right now, go look at the core. All right, it's at robscott.com/core. Learn about that. That's phenomenal for the limiting belief part of it. Okay, the mastermind goes further into like purpose and your being and your doing, what you're doing that way. But jump in and apply, and let's have a conversation. If we have a conversation, it doesn't mean you're in. It doesn't mean you have to buy it. There's no pressure. I just want this to be for the right people at the right time that can do this work. Just to let you know, the next one starts, I'm looking at a calendar, it starts April 21st, and I've only got a couple of spots. So, it's not I'm not trying to make $1 million here or do anything like that. I'm just trying to find a couple people that are right for this process. So I think I'm going to end it up there. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're going to do deep bow, and I love you, and I hope I talk to you really, really soon. Okay? Have an amazing weekend. Bye-bye.